Well, hello there, motherfuckers. Well, I want to take this time to say rest in peace to Princess Leia, aka Carrie Fisher. As you guys know on this channel, Star Wars is pretty important to me. It's been for a long time. I'll talk about Star Wars really and kind of like really what it means to me, and why like this death. I can't say like I'm surprised by this death. I really can't. I mean, I have to say Carrie Fisher was on some pretty extreme drugs. She was on coke. She was on a host of other things. So, the fact that she died is not really that big of a surprise. I know many people are going to argue, oh, she was off the drugs, oh, she was clean. Listen, guys, I've said this here on YouTube about a number of celebrities. I even had a huge war on here like 2 years ago about the Ultimate Warrior's death. Look, when you take drugs for an extended period of time, it doesn't matter. The damage has already been done. Drugs fuck up your heart, they fuck up your brain, they fuck up your kidneys, they fuck up every part of your fucking body. And it doesn't matter if you stay clean, if you've been doing drugs continuously for years and years, the damage is still there. There's no way to erase it. There's just no way of going about it. It's like certain scars on one's body. They're just not going to completely fade away. And, the damage that the drugs did to Carrie Fisher are not going to go away. And so, I like to be honest here on this channel. That's why I'm not just going to be, like, happy-go-lucky in this video. So I can't say I'm surprised. Am I saddened to hear of the death? Yes, because I loved Carrie Fisher. And more specifically, I mean, she played other roles, like in Harry Met Sally and a couple of others, But seriously, the number one role that I cared about anyway was Princess Leia. Very strong female character, very vital to the story. And she was beautiful. I mean, you take a look at her in A New Hope, and, you just look at her with her complexion, and you're just wowed by it. She looked like a princess. If anyone else doesn't look like a princess in films, Carrie Fisher did. I mean, she just exemplified what it means to be and look like a princess. So Star Wars throughout my life meant a lot. My uncle was really into Star Wars. My dad showed me the movies when I was a kid, but it wasn't until 1997 until my uncle and my father actually took me to go see the special edition of A New Hope. And, ever since then I was completely hooked. Ever since I got to sit there and actually focus in on the fucking movie. And I only loved it as I understood it and appreciated, more of, the complexities and things that the story draws from. There's so many different religious and mythological types of things that are in Star Wars that are so fascinating. It's a story that's deep. It's a movie that I have spent hours and hours talking with friends. And you know what the incredible thing is? These movies are like 2.5 hours apiece. And we're spending 3-4 hours fucking talking about them. I mean, at a time. I'm saying like hanging out. I remember on New Year's Eve, we're sitting in the fucking bar, and as we're drinking, we were talking about, Force Awakens. We had already talked about Force Awakens right after seeing the fucking movie. And there we were again, talking more about the fucking films. So, I mean, that's how, like, into it I am. I mean, there's so much to discuss. I mean, when it comes to the cinematography, the music, the characters, the way how they went about it. I mean, it's more than just a movie. If you need to know why people are such big fans of Star Wars, I'll try to help you out if you can't figure it out on your own. Unlike, movies that come out, like Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, for example. That's a one-off movie. You've seen that movie, and, there you go. You get a couple of laughs, and you're on your way. With Star Wars, you have a whole universe. There's hundreds of fucking characters within that universe. there's things that we learn from books and video games that go even beyond that universe. We've seen that these movies draw from old serials like Flash Gordon and others. We've seen that, not only is there so many fucking, spaceships, starships, characters, costumes. There's just so much lore in the presentation of Star Wars, of the sound of Star Wars, of the characters, the way the characters interact with one another. It really is, when you think about it, it's a breathtaking series. No other series has really captured the imaginations of people the way Star Wars has. And this is why I said, I can never fully hate the prequels. I can never fully hate them. I love the prequels. I've already said this. I'm pretty much in love with every single Star Wars movie that came out between A New Hope and Rogue One. I really don't have any big glaring problems with any of them. With the exception of, say, Jar Jar Binks, which really doesn't bother me as much as other people. But so, yeah, as you can see, Carrie Fisher was a very important part of the Star Wars universe, so it's something that hits very close to home. It's a movie that's very important to me, a movie that I've seen many, many, many fucking times, the whole series. And her passing is, you're going to see a lot of people who are calling her Princess Leia and everything, and, they're not big fans, but this is coming from a pretty big fan of hers. Or at least I could say of her character, which makes me a pretty big fan of her because I liked her character. How iconic is it? A Princess Leia, in Return of the Jedi, seeing her there in her bikini, chained up at Jabba's palace. It's iconic. Her also being held in her detention cell on the Death Star. Luke Skywalker walking in, she exclaims, "Aren't you a little bit too short to be a stormtrooper?" A very sarcastic, witty princess, a princess that showed that she could get shit done. You see her handling a blaster on Endor in Return of the Jedi. You see her holding the blaster again in A New Hope. She's General Organa. It's really sad to see her go. It really is. I could talk for ages about, the different moments that Leia had in this film. Just a couple that come to mind. At least we really got to see her. There were parts where she looked a little bit less than flattering. She was giving some speeches that, while she was on drugs that were, just eye rollers. But she got to really reclaim her glory when she returned in Force Awakens, when the whole theater that I was sitting in applauded the moment she appeared on screen. And luckily, she got to shoot all her scenes for Episode 8, so we'll get to enjoy one last Carrie Fisher performance for the ages. And it's going to make the movie even more anticipated. So, we got to see a CGI Leia, of course, in Rogue One, and it's kind of sad. If we want to see any more of Princess Leia beyond Episode 8, hopefully they've got some stock footage, kind of what they did with Governor Tarkin, some stock audio. If they're going to bring her back, if that's the way they're going to go with bringing these characters back through CGI, that's what they're going to probably have to do. But hopefully, I'm not opposed to the CGI actually, and I kind of enjoyed it in Rogue One. So anyway, guys, rest in peace to Carrie Fisher. It was a great run. It was a great career, and you're going to be missed.